Okay, Adam, very briefly, because we're going to speak to Captain Ronan Corcoran, who was friends with the 4 UN observers who were actually killed on the border in southern Lebanon overnight. I believe Kofi Annan has actually been talking about this, hasn't he?
Yeah, Kofi Annan said here in Rome that he believed these men have been deliberately targeted because they were in a well-known United Nations base. Others have demanded an explanation, including the Austrian, who is the EU Foreign Affairs Commissioner. She says an Austrian citizen was killed. They want the fullest possible explanation from Israel of what went on. Beyond expressions of regret as yet, Israel has not clarified how they came to repeatedly target and hit a well-known UN post.
Okay, Adam, I know you'll update us as soon as we hear from those foreign ministers proper. For now, thanks very much indeed. As promised, we can speak now to Captain Ronan Corcoran from the UN Observer Mission, who is in Lebanon for us. Thanks very much indeed, Ronan, for joining us here on Lunchtime Live this afternoon. First of all, many condolences for the loss of your colleagues. What happened?
Good afternoon, Kay. What happened last night was the end of a prolonged engagement between forces along the blue line between Israel and Lebanon. Now, my group, Observer Group Lebanon, are in charge of observing violations. We're here 24/7 observing violations of that blue line. But in the past 2 weeks, obviously, violations are occurring minute by minute. However, we remain in place in a number of fixed positions along the blue line. And these positions are well known to all players in the area.
Tell us about these positions. How could they know that they were there from the air?
I'm not going to deal with the actual operational situation, Kay, but I will say that from the air, people have computerized systems now where they have grid references for locations and are well aware of United Nations grid references for their locations.
Okay. Do you accept that it was a mistake?
I cannot discuss the operational situation, Kate.
Tell us about your friends. I believe that there had, I think we can hear incoming as we speak to you. Apparently, there had been quite a few airstrikes over the last couple of days, and then they had found themselves in this dugout or whatever it was to try to protect themselves. Presumably, given that there had been quite a lot of strikes, you'd been talking about it and how you felt about it and how perhaps you wanted to go home.
No, nobody here wants to go home. In fact, this morning I had people wanting to get out there and do the job that we are being asked to do. People volunteered to be here to do this job. At home, we're in regular armies. We train for warfare, but out here we train for and operate in a peace. We're trying to create a peace environment. So the esprit de corps is still high. However, we're all very, very touched and very saddened by this tragedy that occurred yesterday. I may extend, on behalf of OGL, our deepest sympathies to the families and friends of those who gave their lives for peace.
Ronan, I obviously don't want to distress you any more than you are already, but I just wondered if you wanted to tell us a little bit about your friends that died.
I can't go into individual details because I am afraid that family and friends have not been contacted yet. Until I know that everybody's been contacted, I won't go into individual details. However, I will say that I have lived with these people for more than 6 months on occasion. We all come and go from this area at different times. I myself have been here for 2 years, but they were all brave men and they all knew what had to be done, and they, right up until the end, until the last radio transmission, they were professional about it. They were reporting down the line that they had a firing close on their position, and then we lost communications with them.
Ronan, tell us what motivates someone like you and your friends to put yourself in the line of fire voluntarily, time and time again.
What motivates us is desire for international peace. Any real soldier will tell you that what he wants is an end to war, because war is bad for everybody, ultimately for the soldier. So the more we can create peace in the world, it's better for us. And peacekeeping, Erskine Childers said peacekeeping was not a job for soldiers, but soldiers were the only people that could do it.
How does this compare to other experiences that you've had?
Excuse me?
How does this compare, what you've been going through over the last couple of weeks, how does it compare to other experiences that you've had previously? Do you feel, obviously 4 of your colleagues have died, but is it a much more dangerous situation than you've ever experienced before?
It's not, Kay. I've been here in '99. This is where I've begun my peacekeeping experiences. And unfortunately, I had experience of the death of a brave young Irish soldier during that time, Private Billy Keegan from Galway. And I felt that personally. Of course, every commander feels personally when he loses somebody from his command. And since then, I've served in Eritrea, Ethiopia, and Kosovo. So this is the environment that peacekeepers operate in. We're used to this environment and we're prepared psychologically coming out here for it. What still hurts, of course, is when you lose somebody.
What would you say to Israel today, to Ehud Olmert, if you managed to speak to him face to face? What would you say to him about what's happened to your friends?
Well, Kay, I'm a peacekeeper. I'm an operator on the ground. I wouldn't in the first place be meeting with the Prime Minister of Israel. That's not my place. That's the place for diplomats. And I certainly aren't going to entertain what I may or may not say to any individual. I'm in uniform. Yeah. I'm wearing the blue of the United Nations. So I'm here as a UN diplomat, for want of a better word. And I must maintain my neutrality and my effectivity throughout.
But it must be, it must be incredibly frustrating for you. You must be angry when someone says, sorry, that was a mistake.
Okay, war has become so computerized now, it's harder to justify mistakes of this type. Of course, mistakes happen, but when coordinates are known and given, and when there's good liaison between groups, there's really a very slim margin for error. So it's a tragedy that it was let develop into this situation.
But you would accept that it was a mistake, would you?
I will wait for the official inquiry, Kate. Okay.
We're just looking behind you, Ronan. I know we're going to let you go shortly, but when we see those pictures back here in London and around the world, of course in Ireland as well, it just looks so tranquil. It looks so relaxed. The sun's shining. You've
Absolutely.
Got beautiful
This is beautiful. This is paradise.
How do you?
My wife lived here with me. My wife lived here with me, Kay, until 2 weeks ago. This is fantastic. It's a beautiful place to live, and I was able to go to work very close by. However, she had to be evacuated 2 weeks ago through Damascus and flown home by our Irish Air Corps, who did that very good job in getting Irish family independence home again. But it is a tragedy for this area. Tyre was developing so well. It was developing a tourism within Lebanon. People were coming from international locations, coming back to Lebanon and staying here during the summer. This place, you can see probably all the restaurants behind me. Yeah. This place was booming. Every night these restaurants were full with people. Now nobody. There's nobody on the streets. Everybody's gone north. It's a ghost town.
Do you want to say something to your wife back home, Ronan, before you go?
Hello to everybody back home, and I'm safe and sound. Have no worries.
Fantastic.
Doing my job.
You're doing a fantastic job as well. Captain Ronan Corcoran, thank you very much indeed for joining us here on Lunchtime Live. We really appreciate your time, and please do keep safe, won't you?
I will, of course. Thanks, Kate.
Thank you. Brave man indeed. Sky's Middle East correspondent Emma Hurd is in northern Israel, close to the border with Lebanon. She joins us now. Emma, I'm sure you heard there a lot of what Ronan was saying. Basically, he finds it very difficult to accept that this could have been an accident. What is Israel saying in response?
Yeah, Israel's line on all of this, according to the Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert, is that this was indeed a tragic mistake. And there is some concern on the Israeli side that the United Nations, Kofi Annan, has been suggesting that this may have been a deliberate attack. So Israel's line is simple, deep regret, but this was just a mistake.